Hey everybody, just wanted to remind you to download the Podcoin app, where you can listen to your favorite podcasts like Collateral Cinema or Collateral Gaming and earn Podcoins, which you can use to purchase items such as gift cards from Starbucks and Target and Amazon, and also you can donate it to charities that you may care about. You can find all of that on the Podcoin app. You can find the app itself on Apple Podcasts and Google Play. And also, if you use the promo code Collateral, you can get 300 Podcoins upon registration. Consider that a special gift from us to you. So, download the app, listen to Collateral Cinema, Collateral Gaming, and get paid. And our podcast shout out on this episode is a little different for us. It's actually a comic book podcast, which, yeah, we have a few comic book fans here on the podcast, if you haven't heard already. And this podcast is a lot of fun. It's a good, old school, down-to-earth podcast, and it's Ghosts of the Stratosphere. Check them out on Twitter and on Facebook, and you can find them on Apple Podcasts, and you can find them wherever else you get your podcasts. I highly recommend listening to them. They're a lot of fun, and they talk about everything related to comic books, from movies to video games to graphic novels to the latest releases. And I highly recommend that you check them out. So, hell yeah, on with the show. I'm Beau Maddox.
I'm Robert Ortegon.
This is Collateral Cinema. Welcome to Collateral Cinema, the only movie podcast that matters, where we focus on good movies, bad movies, and everything else in between in the world of cinema. We're podcasting straight from somewhere in South Texas, and yes, my friends, we are a 420 friendly podcast. So whatever you have, be it dabs, be it blunts, be it bongs, be it joints, smoke it if you got it. And we're going to a whole nother world here, right, Robert?
Yes, we are.
All kinds of interesting places with this, right?
And it's just going to be you and me.
Yep, that's right. The Chancellor brothers are not with us at this particular moment.
Good old days.
Yeah, it's pretty much like the old days now.
Our old glory days, bro.
Yeah, where Robert and I kind of carried the show for quite a bit. Remember that shit? What do you think about that?
At least we got through the first season, and that was great. Those were great times. We should go back. We're going to kind of recreate that with low budget late night, right?
That's right. We might as well go ahead and start hyping that. We are currently developing a spin-off podcast, which we're going to work on in the off-season between Collateral Cinema seasons. And it's mostly going to be focused on low-budget cinema, especially of the horror and genre variety.
Horror indie films at their finest.
Exactly. I mean, the best. I mean, I'm not really sure what movies we're going to talk about on the first episode. I think we might just do like a recommendation episode or something like that.
I think we'll just handpick from Amazon Prime.
Or even our own collections,
of course. Shudder. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, both you and I, we have a lot of interesting low-budget stuff in our collections.
We got a fantastic collection.
Yeah, between us. I mean, we have enough stuff to fuel this podcast and low-budget late night for ages, honestly.
Yeah, it's almost like a library in both of our houses.
Indeed. I mean, you should see the stacks of DVDs that I have right now, dude. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
But anywho, we are talking about the 1993 alien abduction drama, I guess you could say. Thriller, maybe a little bit.
I would say
horror,
almost sci-fi thriller,
kind of sci-fi thriller horror. Fire in the Sky, directed by Robert Lieberman. It's starring D.B. Sweeney, Robert Patrick, yep, T2000 himself, Henry Thomas, Peter Berg, and James Garner.
That's a great cast. Yeah.
I love that cast, honestly.
That's a fantastic cast.
They actually really know how to play off of each other. Like, especially James Garner in the role of the main investigator. That was really fucking cool, man. Like, I really like his character.
Only two people can do that.
Yeah.
Him and Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh, seriously. Tommy Lee Jones would have been great in this movie. I'm almost surprised that he wasn't in this movie somewhere.
One of them cowboys.
Yeah, he could have at least been one of the local yokels, or he could have been like the sheriff.
Yeah.
He would have been perfect, but I don't know. I don't think that this movie had the budget for Tommy Lee Jones. Yeah, because, I mean, the budget was like $15 million, which, I mean, even back in 1993, money is kind of cheap, honestly, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can still get a lot done, obviously. I mean, the set pieces in this movie are really spot on, you know, especially with the town and with the actual alien ship and everything, or the interior.
Yeah, you're right. The interior, the puppetry.
Yeah, and it currently holds a 39% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's taken a little bit of a hit in recent years. I don't know if it's because of the skeptic community chipping at it a little bit. I don't know if it's just that it hasn't aged well, because personally, I think the movie looks great.
Yeah.
And it being set in 1975 at the time, it actually lends a little bit of a timelessness to it. It's basically just the 70s through a 90s filter, kind of.
Exactly. I mean, you can see it with all the bikes and the cars. Like,
yeah, it's very much a celebration of small town 70s culture.
At first I thought, is this still 93 because the bikes are old?
Yeah, no, this is 1975.
I was like, dude, this town knows how to take care of their stuff. Like,
yeah. And Robert Lieberman, he directed this movie. Didn't he do a couple of other notable movies?
I think he did the third Mighty Ducks movie.
The third Mighty Ducks.
D3.
Oh, shit.
But he's best known for his television work, too.
What TV shows did he work on?
I forgot. Sorry. Okay.
That's right. You're more of an actor person than a director.
I mostly remember actors' work.
Yeah, I feel you.
More than directors. I mean, I know you are with the directors.
Yeah, I'm the director guy of the podcast, totally. Because, I mean, that's where I kind of gravitate towards. And, I mean, Lieberman's direction is really not bad. I mean, it's nothing to really write home about, but like the way that he presents the themes of suspicion and of small town judgment here, I mean, I think that's really what this movie is about in the end, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's very much just about a small town ganging up on these people who allegedly had a harrowing experience. And then eventually, when their innocence is more or less proven, it's like they still have to be run through the mud a little bit. It's also a story about skepticism, even. James Garner's character, you know? And it's interesting is that it doesn't really pick one side over the other. It pretty much just kind of shows what Travis Walton, that was his name, Travis Walton?
Yeah.
It pretty much showed his side of the story, his friend's side of the story, and it also kind of presented a counterpoint to it. But it still didn't really make you choose any sides here. I mean, it really kind of makes you kind of, you know, make your own mind up a little bit.
Oh, yeah. So just mostly living it up to the imagination.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, I'm seeing right here he did All I Want for Christmas. Robert Lieberman directed a bunch of smaller movies like The Stranger.
All I Want for Christmas, I remember that.
Yeah, Net Force. I kind of remember that. A lot of these movies I honestly have not seen.
That's what I'm saying. He gravitates more towards television.
Yeah, seriously. These two movies, D3 and Fire in the Sky, that is the extent of my familiarity with this director.
Well, like 3 films that we know of, really.
Yeah, and I can kind of see the Mighty Ducks look there. I mean, the cinematography is definitely kind of schmaltzy like that, I guess. And not in a Spielbergian sense, just in more of a cheesy sense, if you catch my drift.
Yeah, you're right. He is cheesy.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a cheesiness to this movie. I mean, it's got a B-movie vibe to it. Allegedly, this movie involved an incident in 1975. A group of 5 men, they were driving home after working as loggers, taking down trees in a forest.
Arizona forest, right?
Yeah. And they come across a light in the forest late at night when they're finished up, and they decide to investigate it, thinking it's a fire. They come across, allegedly, a flying saucer, and one of these guys, Travis Walton, decides it's a good idea to go ahead and just go out there and go right underneath the motherfucker.
Let's just go play with it.
Let's just go play with the flying saucer. Why the fuck not, right?
Most retarded thing in the world.
Well, we don't use the retarded word here, Robert.
Oh, damn. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not wanted here. Sorry.
Whatever. You get one.
Retarded.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. But yeah, Travis Walton is attacked by the flying saucer, and his friends, mistaking him for being dead, decides that it would be a great idea to just go ahead and bail the fuck out on him.
Just totally ditch their buddy.
They just ditch this guy.
Longtime friend too. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I would do that unless, I mean, I don't know. I don't even think there would be a caveat there. That's kind of weird, right? But they actually go to a local diner. They call the cops, and this whole investigation ensues, and the town throws nothing but judgment upon them. And then Travis comes back after 5 days. Allegedly, with no food and water, and he recounts events that are pretty out of this world, needless to say. And like I said, I really like the way that the scenes where he wakes up and he's in the interior of the alien ship actually look. That's something we're going to get into here in a little while. It's actually really fucking cool, I think.
The best part of this whole movie.
It really is. It has some interesting ideas as far as these types of movies are concerned. Not saying that I particularly believe what happened here. I just think that as far as the movie is concerned, it's actually really, really awesome and even straight cinematic. It's like, I mean, there's not a whole lot of like stark imagery there other than a lot of the artifacts of other people that were in the ship.
Yeah, like tennis shoes or sunglasses or
eyeglasses. Yeah, I think there's even like a little bicycle.
Yeah,
somewhere
half
up in there.
Half a corpse that looks like Kevin Bacon's face. I don't know.
But I mean, in many ways, the town itself is kind of in a form of imagery in its own right, especially how the residents treat the main protagonists here. I mean, it kind of lends an atmosphere of suspicion that's just kind of claustrophobic, right?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
This town. Stephen King-ish.
Stephen King. I don't know if it's Stephen King level. Like, maybe.
Aliens. He's more supernatural.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that Stephen King could probably weave an interesting tale from this particular story. I mean, no doubt. But, you know. Now, Robert, what do you think?
What do I think about this movie as it holds up, still being from 93?
Yeah. How do you feel that this movie really holds up? I mean, I think that this movie looks amazing.
I think it still holds up to this day. And,
yeah, I mean, there's nothing here that overtly dates it because it's based in 1975.
Yeah.
I mean, it lends itself to a little bit of a timelessness. And, of course, you know, there's a timelessness to alien abduction stories. They've happened quite a few times, allegedly.
Yeah, the Betty and Barney Hill story, too.
Yeah. I mean, of course, I'm not much of a believer here, although, I mean, I think that I don't think that the scope of this podcast is to prove one way or the other whether this was true or not. I just want to, you know, kind of look into the movie. But in the end, it is kind of compelling to think about even the possibility of it.
Yeah.
I'm open-minded enough to say that, but I'm skeptical enough to say, you know, there's some shaky stuff here. But we're not going to get into that because, like I said, that's not what we're here for.
More about the movie.
Yeah, I'm more concerned with the like I said, the way that the abduction is portrayed both in Travis's end and on the end of his friends. Now, I mean, the way that the town really comes down on these people is just so fucking hellish, I think.
Oh, there's that big old tree around his head.
Oh yeah, that's right. We're as usual, we're watching the movie. And we're at the logging scene. And there's an interesting scene here between this dude Dallas and Travis Walton that's kind of a dick-waving contest, right?
Yeah.
Because apparently there's bad blood between these two people. And it's stupid shit, of course. I mean, there's no fucking reason for it.
Dumb shit. It's more like a flinch thing, right?
Yeah, he just literally just throws his goddamn chainsaw blade right up in his face. It's like...
He's trying to punk him. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, it's not one of those things you play with, but I'm sure that loggers, they probably done dumber shit with their fucking tools than we probably know. I mean, I don't know if we have any loggers who listen to us, but, you know, if you are, leave a comment.
Any Axemen out there?
Any Axemen?
X-Men?
Yeah, that show that's on the History Channel inexplicably, because apparently it's history or something.
History is my favorite subject.
Was it really?
History?
Mostly
U.S. history. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So how do you think the actual direction kind of contributed to the audience reception to this movie? Like how the audience reacted to it? Like, I know it said that there was like a 39% on Rotten Tomatoes. Was that critic or was that audience?
I'm not really sure of that.
Yeah, because honestly, I think this movie is enjoyable enough that people could generally give it a good review. I mean, it says right here it's on IMDb. It's at a 6.5. I mean, that's a little better than average. I mean, it's above average in many ways. I mean, I can see how in some ways it maybe slows down a bit. I mean, it's close to a 2-hour long movie, for one. I mean, it takes a while to tell its story, and that's because it's flashing in between what happened with the alleged incident and also what happened with the investigation, because it's kind of about both.
Flashback scenes, mostly.
Yeah, a lot of it is flashback scenes, like for instance, what we're watching right now. Like, this is basically kind of establishing the characters of who was there, and
when they're at the diner too, telling the story of flashbacks to the morning.
And can I say I love that shot where they actually introduce all the characters in the diner, like as exposition.
Oh yeah,
it's actually an interesting way to do that. I mean, exposition can drag a scene down, but if you actually shoot it correctly, I mean, exposition can actually accentuate a scene, and that's kind of an example of that, I feel.
Nice.
Yeah, James Garner as the lead investigator. What's the character's name? I forget. But yeah, James Garner, he's very much the voice of skepticism in this movie. I mean, his investigation is very rigid. I mean, he doesn't leave any stone unturned, and he does not suffer fools or bullshit kindly.
Very old school, just wants that confession.
Yeah. I mean, I can kind of respect him. You know, I mean, he's very much the one voice of reason. He's even skeptical up to the very end of the movie.
Is your name Gregory Thomas Hayes?
Yes.
See an object hovering above the clearing?
Yes.
Was it saucer-shaped?
Sort of.
Did you see Travis Walton approach the object on foot?
Yeah, I did.
Did you personally dislike Travis Walton?
And what kind of question is that?
Did you or any of your crew murder Travis Walton?
Absolutely not.
What did it look like?
It looked like a fire.
You expect me to believe that a flying saucer came down and took your friend away? Why the heck aren't you speaking up for us? Why let this man talk to us like this?
They took him.
He's skeptical of everybody's story, and Travis Walton.
Right to the end of it, even when Travis comes back, it's like, okay, you guys just made this whole thing up. I mean, really?
Yeah. He actually, I mean, initially he thought that these guys killed Travis Walton and actually buried him somewhere.
Oh, they were about ready to throw the damn chair at all four of those guys, dude.
Yeah, and that's an interesting angle, is that it's very much a guilty till proven innocent type of situation, and that's how these things can go down in small towns sometime.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we live in a small town.
Just hang you.
I mean, every small town has its little weird stories, you know.
Children of the Corn.
Oh yeah, seriously, like some real Children of the Corn shit. And once again, the story is being told in flashback. This is Dallas's flashback, and he's the character that's kind of a straight prick to everybody in this fucking movie.
Just an asshole, really.
Seriously, it fucking pisses me off,
like,
man.
Oh, life didn't hand you a good card or something. You have to act like a dick.
Yeah, seriously, man. I mean, the way that the movie frames the investigation, he's very much the main suspect.
Oh, they're going to pin it on him no matter what.
If Travis Walton didn't show up, they were going to pin all this on him.
Just because he's been to jail before.
Yeah, seriously. And I mean, that's just how cops work, especially in small towns with big cases like this. I mean, they want to get this shit done because they have the city council breathing
Time
down
is
their
money.
necks.
You got the feds there too.
I mean, they got the feds breathing down on their. Yeah, they don't really show the FBI in this, do they?
I think one guy comes in.
Yeah, there's like one guy, I think.
One fed comes in.
Yeah, and of course, it also shows the polygraph test that these guys took, which is, I mean, it's something notable to bring up. I mean, especially when you look at the reality of it. I mean, it was paid for by the National Enquirer. That's kind of what's not shown in this movie.
Yeah.
Is who actually administered the test. But like I said, we're not here to prove or disprove anything. I just thought that was relevant. We should bring it up.
A little strange, right?
Yeah. Now, the initial alien abduction scene, what do you think of the actual effects as far as the so-called flying saucer is concerned?
This is 1993.
Yeah. Do you think there was any CGI used in that? Or do you think,
there was.
Yeah,
Just in that part.
I think there might, by that point, they were using kind of a combination of CGI and maybe like matte painting and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, we're
mostly lighting.
We're almost at that scene in the movie that's playing in the background. I mean, I guess we can get a closer look at it. Of course, we did a commentary on this earlier, which will be out on Patreon and on Podbean Patreon very soon, ladies and gentlemen. $1 and $5.
So look for that.
Yeah, look for that. And once again, it's just Robert and I. You know, we're carrying this episode. Ash, Dakota, and we know they're going to be listening.
Fork knife.
Yeah, he's off doing his fork knife thing, right?
Fork knife.
Fucking Dakota.
Little spork knife thing.
You know that if he was here, he'd be like, kill yourself.
Go kill yourself.
Kill yourselves.
1,000 gold.
Fucking Dakota. I mean, we're glad the Chancellor Brothers have been with us this season. They've really helped us out in so many ways. They've filled out a lot of odds and ends of the podcast and everything, and they do a good job. So we're not knocking you guys.
No,
we're just joshing.
we do that.
We totally do that
all the time.
Yeah, we're total pricks, I guess. Fucking idiots, as usual.
Yeah, it's a degenerate thing mostly.
Yeah, I mean, just go listen to a lot of the earlier episodes of the podcast. You'll hear it. You'll hear our jackassery, pure fucking jackassery. Okay, here's the scene right here. We're
like
looking
a model,
at it.
Right? Look at that. Like
honestly, that looks like a matte painting to me.
It's like a model.
It's a model or a matte painting.
Like a Beetlejuice set, right?
It's still well done, and it kind of evokes the old school B sci-fi movies of like the 50s and 60s.
Looks like lava.
Yeah, there's that shot that's obviously a composite of lava. But why did you fucking get out of the truck, dude? I mean, what the fuck is that?
What did you think was going to happen? Like, I don't know.
I don't know, man. It's like, yeah, let's go ahead and walk towards the giant floating saucer in the sky. Great job, guys.
It's more spotlight-ish.
And then this whole part where they decide to just bail on homeboy.
Mostly spotlight. You don't see the whole flying saucer.
Yeah. I mean, first you're knocked down. He's knocked back quite a bit, but I don't see how these guys thought that he was dead.
That looks good. I mean, they switched from model to that.
It's not like he was vaporized or anything by a death ray.
No, his body was still there, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, they could have ran out there and probably grabbed him real quick and fucking ran back.
Try to resuscitate him.
Yeah, they could have just thrown him in the back of the truck and just drove off.
Panic, though.
It's the one part of the story that to me strains some credulity, like both in real life and in the movie.
Heat of the moment. It's like, where did he actually go?
Yeah, seriously.
Because he was missing from right there.
Yeah.
For 5 days.
And at the end of the scene, it bookends with Michael and Travis going to the scene of the abduction again, right?
Yeah, they were the only two that were still in the town that stayed there.
And Travis is gone for 5 days after this abduction, which, I mean, in and of itself is still a pretty terrifying, intense scene.
Like, what happened in those 5 days?
Well, I mean, we are shown at least partially what happens.
Yeah.
To him, it wasn't that long.
To him, it felt like hours.
Yeah. And of course, that's where we're going to get into the actual interior of the alien ship, which I thought was the most compelling part of this entire movie. And what's interesting about it is that in many ways, it kind of goes against the sterility and the kind of industrial quality of most sci-fi spaceships, you know? Like, sterile, kind of like Star Trek, but, I mean, kind of industrial, more like Star Wars or the Alien franchise, kind of. It's actually a lot grodier than that. It actually looks more like a system of caves with a bunch of pods in it.
Catacombage.
Yeah, it definitely has a catacomb vibe to it. And, of course, I mean, Travis, he's covered by this membrane with all these weird, like, digestive fluids and gunk around him.
Afterbirth or something.
Yeah, it's almost like afterbirth. It has a womb-like quality to it. And, I mean, it's very much kind of almost a rebirth. He even has an umbilical cord to hold on to. And he floats in this corridor, and that's really, really well shot. And it's the set design is really, really interesting to me. I mean, it literally looks like a cave system.
Willy Wonka's.
Oh, it's even darker and grodier than Willy Wonka's.
I just think of the fizzy lifting drink part. When
it almost has kind of a little bit of a feel of that, right?
The bubbles. Drinking the.
Yeah, he's floating up there
touching
and everything.
The ceiling.
And doesn't he breach another pod, and it's like a half digested human and everything?
It's like half a torso.
Like we brought up before, like the actual evidence of other abductions there. But the actual scene where Travis is experimented upon, that's a pretty strenuous scene. Like where he's actually, they grab him and he's dragged. Like that's after he sees the alien spacesuits, which honestly is a great idea. I love that concept. I mean, and it's actually in the Grayling look, which actually makes sense if you think about it. I mean, if these things actually exist, that they couldn't come into our atmosphere and breathe our air, probably. Yet inexplicably, Travis can breathe the air in the alien spaceship. So maybe that stuff's more for spacewalks?
That's crazy. It should simulate, the life on their planet.
Yeah.
And how is he breathing there?
Yeah.
Oxygen.
That is weird, right?
That don't make sense.
Yeah.
I'd be coughing up blood, just adjusting to the air or something, right?
Yeah, there would have to be some kind of bacteria or some kind of gas that they're breathing that human beings just could not, take in.
Mm-hmm.
And the aliens themselves, some excellent practical effects by Industrial Light and Magic, Jim Henson's company. And I mean, they're very creepy. I mean, once you actually have the Grayling look kind of shattered for you, I mean, they're actually kind of these featureless,
like a burn victim or something,
emotionless, almost like a burn victim. Yeah, they have this very emotionless look to them. They're not even particularly sterile about what they do. Like, I mean, when they actually have Travis on the table, they cover him up with this weird organic film or something like that, and
like shrink wrap or something. I don't know.
Yeah. And then they cut that membrane again. Like, I mean, once again, it has that organic quality to it. That needle apparatus comes down, and it's like, that is creepy as fuck, dude.
Shit, that's needles. Ugh.
Oh, going towards the eye?
Yeah.
I mean, did you ever play that Dead Space game where you had to...
The first one?
Yeah, the first one where it had the eye thing. You had to do it, like, perfectly.
That was crazy.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of that scene a little bit. And I know that this movie came out before that, so maybe there was some influence there. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it was really well shot, and there's a lot of people on the internet that say that was a movie that, initially it was kind of slow and everything, but once it got to that part, it terrified the fuck out of them. There's lots of people on the internet that say that. And it's like, I mean, I can kind of get that. I mean, personally, even back then, I probably wouldn't have thought that this was that scary.
I think it was just building the suspense.
Yeah, but it's very much the set piece and the build up towards the actual experiment scene that, honestly, it's pretty well paced.
Was the experiment scene in the trailer?
They had flashes of it.
Flashes of it. Okay, that's probably what's got everybody to the movies.
Yeah. There's almost a Jacob's Ladder quality to some of those scenes to me. I mean, I know you haven't seen that movie.
Mm-mm.
There's a particular scene in that movie where he goes into a hospital on a gurney and everything, and things just get progressively crazier as he goes into the operating room, and then it just goes to shit, and it's crazy. Like, I mean, you got to see that movie, man.
Jacob's Ladder.
Yeah, Jacob's Ladder is fucking tight, and that scene actually evoked that quite a bit to me. Like, especially the point of view scenes as he's being dragged down the hallway and everything. Like, that really kind of had that quality.
He was having that flashback scene when he was being carried off in the gurney to the hospital route.
Yeah.
All the lights just coming back, flashback too.
But I mean, it's a lot more psychologically terrifying in Jacob's Ladder, though. It's not an alien thing. It's more, supposedly, it's a psychological, supernatural thing. Now, what do you think about how Hollywood actually portrayed the events of this movie and the book it was based on? Do you think that this is a decent adaptation? I mean, isn't there some things that were left out?
Yeah, like what you were saying with the polygraph test.
Yeah.
That was mostly left out too.
Yeah. Like who actually financed the polygraph test and administered it?
In the reenactment too, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah,
the one made for TV back then.
In Travis Walton's actual abduction story, wasn't there actual what he thought were human beings present at the experiment scene?
Yeah, you're right about that. He said that 2 of them came back. One was male and female, and
yeah, they had long hair and they were wearing some kind of uniform,
some sort of Kryptonian suit.
Yeah, they were the ones that actually strapped him to the table.
Yeah,
which is not seen in this movie.
No.
That's absolutely not shown. It's the aliens that are holding him down and strapping him to the table.
He said he saw the gray aliens, and then they left. The human aliens or whatever came back, right?
Yeah.
Whatever, the ones with hair.
It's like, I mean, that's one of those things I guess was a little too out there for this movie.
It's like, did they shift into humans just to calm him down? And I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think that it would have made a difference given what they would have done to him, allegedly.
It's like weird. He was alive for that whole thing. I mean, he was awake for all that. But
yeah, and
he claims.
And Lieberman does capture the actual torture of something like that, of medical experimentation, while alive and conscious with no anesthetics.
Ugh.
I mean, yeah, that needle coming closer and closer, that does make for some very anxious viewing right there.
Going right into his eyeball too.
Oh man. So fucking horrible. It's like that did make me uncomfortable. And I've seen a lot of fucking shit in horror films, dude. Lots of disturbing fucking shit. I showed you one of them recently. I showed you a few. And it's going to get crazier from there. I can't wait to show you all the other things I have. It's going to be so much fun.
Man, can't believe they weren't here for this.
I know, man. Ash, Dakota.
They need to learn some history. Come on.
Yeah, you need to learn your history, Ash, Dakota. I mean, shit.
anything past 2000 is not history. Okay, come on.
Wow. Jesus Christ.
Sorry.
Didn't 9/11 happen past 2000?
That's history.
That's history.
There we go.
No shit. In the Gulf War.
History.
And eventually we got Trump.
Present.
God damn it.
Will be history.
Fuck. But anywho, I mean, do you kind of feel like the actual scene with the alien abduction was a little overdone? Maybe.
I think it was sort of, but as a Hollywood film, I didn't think it was too bad.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, like we said earlier, they really do kind of imbue a little bit of a sci-fi B movie quality to it.
Exactly.
Which, honestly, I think kind of lessens the wonkier elements of the initial story. Like for instance, the whole scene with the Grayling spacesuits. I mean, I think that was one of those scenes that was kind of put in there to kind of...
That was cool. I mean...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it actually, like I said before, it actually makes sense, you know, that they would...
what everybody's saying are the Greys.
Yeah. I mean, and that's an actual interesting concept there that I've never really heard before. But, I mean, other than that, what do you think about it was overdone?
Sort of where he just comes off the wall. Like, I didn't think that actually happened.
Oh, really?
And Travis said that never happened.
Oh, I see.
If this claim is true, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And then there's the other things that he said he saw in there, like the star map.
Yeah.
And all that.
And we were like, dude, that's Flight of the Navigator.
Straight Flight of the fucking Navigator. Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
It's like straight up.
The star map revealed itself because you pushed a button on a chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Flight of the Navigator.
Totally, man. So you already have Jacob's Ladder and Flight of the Navigator here. Holy shit. And isn't there a reference to Close Encounters?
Oh, right where the train tracks are?
Yeah, yeah, and James Garner is first introduced.
Yeah. I mean, you think it's the Phoenix Lights over Arizona or
Yeah.
Spielberg's movie, Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yeah,
right
it kind of has that look to them.
I think that happened in the beginning of Close Encounters.
Really?
Where that happened and you automatically thought it was an alien, a flying saucer, you know?
Shit, man, it's been ages since I've seen Close Encounters, so I would have to have to go back and watch that again.
Spielberg movie. Good.
Oh, Spielberg is great. Yeah. You know, he doesn't always hit his mark, but he does know how to make really fun cinematic movies.
Oh yeah.
You know? I do respect him for that. And Jaws is still fucking awesome.
Jaws.
Fucking Jaws. We got to do that on the podcast. Like, totally.
Just the first one.
The first one, yeah. I mean, I guess the sequels are kind of fun for just weekend viewing or
Jaws
late
3, The Revenge, 3D.
Yeah, it's just fun for bad movie night viewing. Really,
it's like that 3D is not 3D with a 2D television.
Yeah, to me, it's kind of like watching some of the Leprechaun sequels. That's what it's kind of like.
That's just always fun to go back and watch.
Yeah, the Leprechaun sequels are great. You know, once again, another great 90s property from this same particular era. I mean, as a 90s movie, how do you think it stands out?
Oh, it still holds up in general. I think it's on Netflix right now.
Yeah, I mean, like we said earlier, we know that this is based in the 70s and there's a 90s lens to it. Like, what do you think of that 90s lens? Like,
I think it's more up to date. Yeah.
Yeah.
90s lens, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I'm seeing something there that's not actually there. I mean, it is more timeless.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, maybe because of some of the story conventions are kind of 90s-ish.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
if you get what I mean.
Yeah. I'm just looking at all the clothes, making sure they're 70s and not 90s.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
cars.
I could totally see that kind of mistake coming through in something like this. Once again, $15 million budget.
Yeah.
And it only made $4 million in profit?
Just made barely $4 million back, right?
Yeah, it had a $19.9 million domestic box office on a $15 million budget.
Could have done way more.
Could have done way more. Way more. I mean, I feel like it was probably the marketing that did it for that.
Yeah, there's probably something else around that time that was bigger.
They could have marketed this as more of a horror movie and as a drama movie, I think.
Drama, sci-fi, all of it, right? Maybe three things.
Even the sci-fi elements don't feel very sci-fi to me. They feel more horror. Kind of.
I'm just thinking Sci-Fi Channel would release this.
It kind of fits the mold of a sci-fi release.
Just got that made-for-television vibe going for sci-fi.
Man, in some ways, I kind of miss the made-for-TV quality. It's something that I feel a lot of kids these days don't know about. And there were actually some interesting movies that came out on TV.
Yeah.
I mean, I think one of Spielberg's first productions was a TV show. It was a TV movie.
I remember watching like Evel Knievel story, like on or a TV movie, Evel Knievel, and those were great. You know?
Oh yeah, and then there was always like the true crime ones. Like, I mean, nowadays you pretty much find that stuff on like Lifetime and Hallmark.
Yeah, you're right.
And Hallmark is basically its own cadre and genre of film, pretty much. I mean, it's just so schlocky and just kind of
Watch Unsolved Mysteries with it.
kind of stupid, you know, fucking stupid. There's a real stupidity to Hallmark movies, you know.
Hallmark Channel.
But like we said earlier, I mean, you get to the alien abduction scenes, it's like that's where it kind of
This where it gets better.
It gets better than made for TV. Maybe it's more so that the drama itself kind of feels like that. You know, maybe it's just the actual dramatic elements, which, I mean, the cast, they play into that well. I mean, they play off of each other well. I mean, whenever James Garner is on screen, he's always just commanding the screen. 100%. I mean, because he's pretty much picking these guys apart.
You can tell it's probably old Texas law enforcement or something.
Yeah.
Comes in with his cowboy hat.
And, you know, D.B. Sweeney, he kind of has a little, what do you think, kind of a cartoony vibe to him, right?
Yeah, mostly like a little dopey, little cartoon guy.
And then there's those rape eyes that he gives the old girl the first time you see him. After they kiss, it's like, okay, dial it back, DB.
So you could be more dreamy, dude. You're kissing a girl. Like,
Yeah.
let's try to sell the more dreamy look, I guess, or the.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And of course, the dude that plays Dallas, I mean, total prick.
Prick
Dallas
job.
is a prick.
Prick job.
Yeah. What's to say about him?
America's foundation of what? Something aerial.
Yeah. But apparently the FBI was involved in this, and they put on a search for Travis, and this was a national news event.
Yeah.
More or less. This made national news back in the day. And you can find newspaper clippings of this online, as well as accounts both for and against Travis Walton's alleged abduction.
His disappearance.
And his disappearance.
Yeah. There's nothing, really? Can't find a newspaper?
No, I said there is.
Oh, there is
stuff out there. Yeah,
Oh,
there's plenty of There's plenty of documentation and YouTube videos on this guy.
I would like to see one of those newspapers. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sure if you Google it, you'll find it.
Be cool.
But yeah, I mean, getting the FBI involved in something like this, and I mean that's kind of a trope in its own right in these types of movies because of the investigative quality to it.
I mean, they're about ready to string up these four guys.
Yo, yeah. I mean, seriously.
Old school, man.
I mean, we're at this diner scene, and one of these guys tries to fucking fight them, like straight up confront them. And it's like, dude, it's not your fucking place to do this. Seriously, sit the fuck down. It's like, don't fucking butt in.
People.
Yeah, fucking people. I swear to God. Especially in small towns. I mean, it's very much in line in what you see.
Where everybody knows everybody and they know that you.
Yeah,
they saw you grow up and everything.
And very little has changed since then. Honestly, very little has changed there.
Run downtowns. The only thing there is a coffee shop now, right?
Yeah, seriously. Good old James Garner. Now, what other alien abduction stories were turned into movies, Robert? Like, I mean, what other movies like this are there?
Before this, there was the Betty and Barney Hill story.
And that's also based on a true story. What happened in that particular incident?
They were vacationing through Canada when they came back from New York. I'm guessing using the New York border because shared border. And as they were coming back, they see a mysterious sphere or saucer shape,
like a saucer or a spear or something.
Yeah. And then the car dies, right? It totally kills the battery.
Oh wow!
And everything's dead, right? Their watches are dead. Everything's dead.
Huh.
And then the car starts up again, right? And then when they get back home, they realize they had lost 2 hours of driving time.
Yeah, time displacement.
Missing time.
Wow. That's crazy.
And that's a famous book, too, by Bud Hopkins, right? Missing Time.
And what was the movie that was made based on that?
It was a television movie out of the 50s. It was James Earl Jones, I believe, played Barney Hill.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Right on. So it was made for TV?
Made for television.
I got you. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of those stories, I mean, there was a pretty big cash grab in the 90s for alien abduction stories.
In the 60s and the 90s, mostly.
In the 90s, it kind of metastasized into something kind of different, you know? That was when the whole UFO conspiracy theory crowd really started to coalesce a lot more, you know?
It's like people were bringing up Roswell again. It's like,
yeah, I mean, by that point, it had been how many years since Roswell?
Roswell was like 1947.
Yeah, so around the 90s, it would have been about 50 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, about a half century. Like, yeah, that's long enough for that to kind of become its own bit of, you know, mythos a little bit, and it's influenced pop culture in many different ways. Like, I mean, of course, in most all of our movies, aliens are the antagonists in those stories, more than likely, you know? Like in Aliens, in the Alien franchise and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
Also in a lot of other sci-fi horror movies that came out. But this movie right here, it just stands in distinction from those other movies. There's really just, to me, not really anything else like this that was made by a major motion picture studio.
Yeah, this one seems more real and not too much made up.
I mean, it presents the story in a reality-based way. Let's put it that way. I mean, once again,
it seems realistic.
Other than maybe a blurb near the end, like I said earlier, it doesn't force you to really make up your mind one way or the other. I mean, it's just like, this is the story, and if you really want to believe it, that's fine. I'm sure nowadays these sort of things are a lot more polarized, of course.
Yeah.
But then again, you and I are sitting here speaking about this, and we have differing views on it.
Everybody's coming forward with their own stories. So.
Yeah. And of course, recently there was the revelation from the Pentagon that there's been a lot of sightings of UFOs by pilots. Doesn't necessarily prove the existence of aliens or anything. It just means that they're seeing a bunch of shit that they don't know what the fuck it is.
UFO unidentified.
It's unidentified flying object.
Just means it's unidentified.
Yeah, it could literally be anything.
It doesn't mean aliens.
Yeah, and that I think that's something that gets lost on a lot of the UFO crowd, which is kind of funny whenever you call them the UFO crowd. I'd say more like the alien community.
UFO Microshingle Group. Yeah, it was a great group.
Oh yeah, UFO. great fucking metal band. Fuck yeah, dude. Totally German as fuck, right?
Good guitar solo.
Oh man, the Shankers. Fuck yeah, dude. Oh man, too bad we're not a music podcast, right?
Oh yeah.
Because if we were, we'd be totally metal.
Remember those UFO alien ice creams? They were like,
oh yeah, the little grayling ones with they had like the bubblegum eyes or whatever.
Oh, those are cool.
Yeah, that's another example of popular culture with aliens. You know,
good stuff.
War of the Worlds is another good story to bring up, in a movie that came out a long time after this one. I'm talking about the Tom Cruise film. I mean, even in that movie, I mean, it just continued. It keeps up that continuum of aliens as our enemies.
You know what else was real? Was the Battle of Los Angeles story.
Oh, I've heard about that. But wasn't there a movie made of that?
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't...
Wow.
It wasn't aliens. We were going battle with them, dude. It was just like...
No, it was just a moment of hysteria where our troops who were defending us...
They cracked off like 10,000 worth of shells, and that was it, you know?
Yeah, and they didn't hit anything.
Yeah. It was in the middle of 47, too, before Roswell crashed.
Yeah.
We had the Battle of Los Angeles.
Yeah. I mean, more than likely, that was just bad military management.
Thinking that... See, we're coming out of World War II, so...
Yeah, of course.
We're in World War II right now.
And entering the Cold War, it would have been logical that, we would have been a little on...
Attack Los Angeles or go to New York.
Yeah, we would have been a little on edge, needless to say.
Like go to New York, attack in Los Angeles, something.
Yeah, I mean, we're not a history podcast or anything like that, but it's really amazing how these stories have really just become a part of our culture and a part of our discourse as well. I mean, this is really some of the earliest examples of people, of skeptics and people who believe in this stuff coming together and discussing it. They laid a lot of the groundwork for how internet discourse would kind of, evolve a little bit. I mean, I kind of feel like you can kind of track that a little bit. Like, and a lot of that does kind of start with a lot of those UFO alien abduction type of groups. Like a lot of the Usenet groups back in the day. That were based on that and conspiracy theories. And now, I mean, look what that led to. I'm not going to lay like our current political situation on UFO enthusiasts, but I'm just saying that, there's just kind of maybe a little bit of a lineage there. Maybe you can kind of maybe make more than a straight line between the two, sort of, I guess is what I'm saying. And I mean, a lot of that started, especially in the late 80s and early 90s, when we started getting to the 50...
With Ronald Reagan.
Yeah. With Reagan, yeah, and then you had 50 years since Roswell and all those other incidences, So, I mean, it's totally reasonable why interest in this particular subject in aliens really became what it became, and it's really interesting to watch how it evolved, because it says a lot about society, I think. In many different ways. Just like this movie says a lot about society, especially society in a small town culture.
Oh, there was a plane crash or a UFO crash before Roswell. It was in the 1800s. I don't know if you've seen that.
Really? No kidding.
Crashed in Texas.
I have no clue about that.
Old newspaper. I watched a lot of the UFO files on Discovery back in the day, too, and I used to have a lot of them documentaries.
See, yeah, I mean, wasn't it in the 90s is when we got, like, a lot of the Fox sensationalistic shows about that sort of thing, like the alien autopsy?
Yeah, remember that.
I mean...
Some footage got loose.
In many ways, that was a precursor to some of the shit you see on Fox News. I mean, it's really amazing how much this shit has really influenced our culture. It's actually kind of crazy when you think about it. What are you looking up there, Robert?
Trying to find that UFO crash in the 1800s. Crashed in Texas because they buried the alien in the town cemetery.
Oh wow! What?
So I want to show you this. Yeah. I want to show you this. I want to show you the story behind that.
Why hasn't that been made into a movie?
Yeah, I think it reached the newspaper clippings in the towns, but everybody just forgot about it. Anyway, it crashed and it hit a windmill.
Really?
And then they buried pieces of the ship in like some guy's water well, and that gave him horrible deformities when he was drinking his water.
What?
Yeah.
Holy shit! And there's pictures of this dude and his deformities and
his feet and his
what?
It looked like radiation poisoning. That's what it looked like.
Yarg. Well, of course, I would have to see some evidence.
See some pictures. Yeah.
See some pictures, some
at
evidence,
least some pictures,
and see exactly all the different accounts to really
at least see the story, because I know it's there on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure there's all kinds of shit about this on YouTube, bro. As crazy as that shit can get. There's a reason why I mostly go on there and watch movie review channels, and even they can get a little fucking iffy, A lot of the commenters, I should say.
It's a little hard to believe sometimes too. I mean, don't believe everything.
Yeah, don't believe everything you see. Question everything, people.
Yeah, question. Be a little open-minded too.
And I think in many ways that's one of the cruxes of this movie is, just always question, be skeptical. Who fucking knows?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I feel was one of the things that the director was saying with this movie. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and cut this episode short a little bit. I think that we've said about all that we can really, really say about Fire in the Sky. I recommend checking it out, like taking it as just a B sci-fi alien abduction horror movie. It's actually a lot of fun to watch if you just, whether you believe it actually happened or if you're a skeptic like me and you question the actual story and everything. But I mean, one way or the other, this is a movie that you can definitely sink your teeth into, more or less. I mean, in the actual scene with Travis Walton in the ship, they're actually pretty interesting, if according to Robert, overdone. Right, Robert?
Yes. Some of it was overdone. Yeah.
You think it was a little overdone?
Some of it.
I think it was maybe a little too long.
Too long?
If anything. It's a little over long. It's close to 2 hours, if not over 2 hours. It's like 109 minutes.
Stretching out the filler.
I mean, there might have been a lot of filler in this.
Probably with everybody's telling the story and the flashbacks to it.
I think that some of the scenes with Michael and his wife could have been cut. I mean, I understand that they were having financial troubles at that time, but my God, how many times are you going to fucking show that? I mean, it's only so relevant to this story.
Yeah.
I believe, anyways. And I mean, I guess it's competently shot as well. I mean, the cinematography is pretty spot on. I mean, if, like you said, in some areas made for TV-ish.
Well, yeah, you got a director that mostly done TV.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad thing in itself.
No, it's mostly a step up for him. I think it's probably the biggest thing he's done.
Yeah, it is. And of course, he did Mighty Ducks. Dude 3. And you can see a lot of that in this. Like, I mean, the color palette is pretty okay. I mean, it's nothing too artistically sound, but I mean, it does the trick. And I mean, the cast. I mean, fuck, man. This fucking cast is fucking pretty awesome, actually. Especially James Garner. James Garner is the man here.
James Garner.
Fuck yes, man. And I mean, Robert Patrick wasn't bad either. I mean, I kind of expected him to just morph into Travis Walton and fucking make the phone call and then morph back into Michael, you know.
Do it.
Because you never trust a T-2000. Never. You never trust T-2000.
Especially with the new movie coming out, right?
Yeah, there's a new movie coming out. Oh, shit. That will be fun.
It's like the Terminator's like half human.
He's going to be half human this time?
Yeah. It's almost like a cyborg thing, dude.
Okay.
Crazy.
That's interesting, I guess.
Nanites and cyborg and...
I don't know. That series has gone to some interesting places.
That one with Christian Bale,
Yeah, that one was interesting.
He was half human already, basically.
Pretty much. Yeah, I'm trying to remember that movie mostly.
Terminator Salvation.
Terminator Salvation. I remember seeing that movie, but it's like I don't remember seeing that movie.
Yeah. I remember it being the biggest thing because of Christian Bale.
I remember Terminator Genesis. More than that.
That's most recent. Yeah.
Yeah. But once again, one of our trademark tangents, you know. But, I mean, hell, Robert Patrick. I mean, shit.
Robert Patrick.
The motherfucking T-2000.
X-Files.
X-Files. I mean, does this movie have an X-Files quality to it? I mean, I guess it does.
Yeah, you're right.
Maybe it's not as, what's the word?
X-Files quality? Yeah, in the storyline it does, because I would expect David Duchovny to come in.
Yeah, right.
Scully,
Mulder and Scully.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, this would have come out at that time. Oh, wow. Evidence surrounding 1897 UFO crash baffles scientists. Wow. Aurora, Texas. Oh, I've heard about that. The Aurora incident?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about that before.
It's a few hours from here, dude.
Wow. That's crazy.
About 4 hours, right?
Fucking Texas, I swear to God.
It's a whole story of that on YouTube.
But anyway, Robert, go ahead and give us your final thoughts on this movie that you chose for the podcast.
That I chose?
That you chose.
Okay, when you say it like that.
Yeah, I'm blaming you for this.
So, when you say it like
Guilty
that.
Guilty party.
Guilty.
No, but seriously, what are your thoughts, man?
What are my thoughts? This is a great movie, and you know what? I hadn't seen it in a while. And... yeah, I would suggest you just watch it on Netflix whenever you get a chance. And
it's on Netflix right now?
It's on Netflix right now.
Right on. That's
kind
cool.
of watch this, state your opinion about it, because I think this movie ain't too bad for what it is.
It could have used some cutting here and there to take care of the runtime.
Well, you're talking about early 93.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but I mean, it is just the kind of movie that if you just want to go on a little 90s movie binge, I mean, you should definitely have this one in there. Like,
at least see it once.
At least see it once, you know? It's kind of like movies like, what's a good example? Like Volcano, or fucking, or Congo, or Hackers, you know? It's essentially 90s movies, even if it is based on an incident from the 70s. Yeah. It's still a pretty decent 90s film. Mm-hmm. And those are my thoughts, of course. It's like, yeah, I could definitely recommend, or not really buying it, at least rent it and check it out. Or check it out on Netflix. If you don't like it, you can just go find something else to watch.
Or you can find it from that guy down the street for like $2.
yeah, we have a DVD merchant down the street. He peddles some interesting wares, needless to say. And all the porn you can want.
Keeps us in business.
yeah, pretty much.
5 days ago, about sundown on Rim Road, north of Turkey Creek, did you see an unidentified light just above the tree line?
Yes.
Did you see an object hovering above the clearing?
Yes.
Was it saucer-shaped?
Sort of. I've never seen anything exactly like it before.
Yes or no?
I'd have to say no.
Did you see Travis Walton approach the object on foot?
Yeah, I did.
Did you see a bolt of blue-green light envelop Travis Walton?
Yeah, man, I told him. I exploded all around him.
Did you believe Travis was killed by the red light?
Now, how do I know? Just know that I didn't kill him.
Did you personally dislike Travis Walton?
And what kind of question is that? Huh?
Simple yes or no will do.
Yes. And no.
Have you withheld any pertinent information regarding the disappearance of Travis Walton?
No.
Did you create this incident to get out of your logging company?
No.
Did you or any of your crew murder Travis Walton?
Absolutely not.
And I guess we're going to go ahead and wind it down now. You can find Collateral Cinema on Podcoin, where you can use the promo code Collateral to get 300 free Podcoins upon registration. You can find us on the Chill Lover Radio app, which you can find on Apple Podcasts and Google Play and wherever else you get your podcasts. We are also on many of the same platforms that they are on now, thanks to Chill Lover Radio. We are thankful for them.
Thank you, Chill.
Yeah, thank you, Chill. And we do our best to promote the family as much as possible, because that's what it is. It's a family. And we do wish that Ash and Dakota were here, but you will hear them on the next episode, which is going to be the final episode of the season.
I'm not on it, so have fun.
Yeah, unfortunately, Robert Ortegon couldn't make it. So it's just as well that the Chancellors weren't able to make it here, I guess.
It was only fit, I guess, for them, right?
Yeah, it was only fair. And we will have our special guest, Miss Megan Price, a good friend of ours. She's also a regular viewer of the Country Club podcast. And that movie is going to be The Princess Bride. That's a really, really fun movie, man. It was released on Criterion recently. Like, I had a lot of fun watching it again. You know, I mean, Fred Savage, Peter Falk, Andre the fucking Giant.
I remember it back in the day.
Fucking Wallace Shawn.
The WB was releasing it as a TV movie.
Yeah.
Way back in the 90s when I was a kid.
They remade that for TV?
Oh, they were just releasing it as a TV movie.
Oh, I see. They just play it on...
Probably for like Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah, the Saturday morning movie or whatever.
Yeah, there you go, right?
That's a good movie to show, man. I mean, the sword fighting scenes alone. I mean, that was a lot of fun. Since you're not going to be on there, what are your thoughts on that movie? I'll go ahead and get out of the way and ask you. What are your thoughts on The Princess Bride?
Andre the Giant, hell yeah.
Fuck yeah, huh? Andre the
Giant.
Fucking A. How about Inigo Montoya?
His name is Neo Montoya. You killed my brother.
My father.
My father.
Prepare to die.
I was thinking Zorro, sorry.
Yeah. I mean, there's a Zorro quality to the Dread Pirate Roberts.
Zorro and Robin Hood, right? A little bit.
Kind of a little bit of both.
Robin Hoodish.
I mean, of course, if you know anything about the movie, you know what the Dread Pirate Roberts really is. But, yeah, join us for that episode. We are totally stoked to end our season on such a high note. I mean, I'm kind of glad that you and I got to do an episode by ourselves this season. That was actually kind of cool.
Of all the kiddies at home, hadn't even seen Tales from the Crypt yet.
Oh, man, we need to show them Tales from the Crypt. I say we just show them Demon Knights and just let them stew in it.
At least
right?
put on season 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I mean, get those out of the way, right?
Put on some of the earlier seasons from the 90s.
Earlier seasons.
Show them the one where they tried to have Humphrey Bogart after he died and everything.
Oh, yeah.
With John Lithgow and Isabella Rossellini.
That was funny.
Yeah, that's funny shit.
Humphrey Bogart.
But anyway, we're going to cut this one short like we said. We're going to go ahead and get on out of here since it is late. I'm Beau Maddox.
I'm Robert Oregon.
And this was Collateral Cinema. Check out our season finale coming out in 2 weeks. And hey, one more thing. Chasing Molly. Check it out. Indie movie review. Yeah. Check us out. Peace.
Out.
Collateral Cinema is an L Company production. All music and movie clips are owned by the respective creators and are used for educational purposes only. Please don't sue us. We're poor.